Huh? Hey, who let you guys up here? Trying to stop me from disconnecting the antenna?
Us? No, we were just passing by.
Failure.
Oh yeah!
Hey, what's good everybody? It's Corey, and I'm back, and we're doing another review.
Why should I care?
On today's video, we're going to be talking about the 2004 animated series known as Code Lyoko.
Totally ridiculous.
Oh boy, what a show. You guys remember the show Code Lyoko? It's been so damn long. Man, I forgot this show even existed. Man, I used to watch this show all the time back in like 2005 when I would get home in the afternoon from school. Just to be real, a lot of people kept asking me, yo, what do you think about the show Code Lyoko? Was it a cool show? Did you like it? Did it have cool characters? Well, let's find out. Since a lot of people aren't really talking about the show Code Lyoko, here is my review. So to start things off, the show is an export from France.
Wow.
Which was one of the rare occurrences that a France TV show was picked up by the network. The series was created by a company known as Moonscoop, and it used to air in the afternoon cartoon block known as Magoozy, which was like this watered down kid-friendly version of Toonami that would bring over more anime style shows. You know, they would air shows like Teen Titans, Totally Spies, TMNT, and Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, just to name a few. But man, this show was just full of excitement, and it just had some really cool 3D animation, and it would swap back between 2D animation and 3D animation, which for a show back then, that was just something very cool and unique that a lot of shows weren't really doing. And this show thought, hey, why don't we try some CGI animation and go against the grain to try to stand out from other TV shows. So, what was the show really about? Well, the show is about these kids that come across a supercomputer that contains the virtual world that is the home to this evil virus entity named Xana. Yeah, we talking about viruses in the year 2020. Maybe Xana's all behind the coronavirus. It's all starting to make sense now. But for real though, Xana was just really crazy and outrageous. And she was always just trying to straight up kill somebody. Going from 0 to 100 just real fast, like how in the first episode Xana transforms this teddy bear into this giant killing weapon teddy bear on a warpath. Like, what the heck? It's just wild. And Xana is able to escape the confines of the virtual world and make attacks on the real world through the access of electronics. Cause hey, that's pretty crazy. This causing a whole new slew of weird and outrageous scenarios to happen in which the heroes must go defeat the villain. But how did the kids go fight against this overpowered cybernetic virus of destruction?
That's a good question.
Well, like any kid wanted to do back then, when there was a virus inside their game that needed to be dealt with, they would use these portal pods at their base that could transport them into the world of Lyoko. This way, they would be able to go head to head with the virus one-on-one, and they would come across lots of crazy mechanisms and machines that they would do battle with.
Yumi, watch out. You've lost 40 life points already.
Well, I knew I was in trouble now.
So yeah, they would all transform into these warriors, which each had their own weapons and fighting styles depending on their personalities and their true desires. And it was up to these kids to try to stop Xana from destroying the world and save everyone from ultimate doom. So, like I said before, the animation which was in this virtual world would be all done in this CGI animation style, while as in the real world, it was all done in a 2D animation style, which, you know, for something back then, like I said earlier, that was cool and unique, and it really helped the show stand out. A lot of people want to try tossing shade at the 3D graphics in this show, but, I mean, for the year 2004, these graphics aren't too bad, actually. And it looks pretty cool. I mean, this style was hardly ever used in cartoons, so actually seeing it used was, you know, just kind of cool and refreshing. Unless you count that show Reboot. You know, that was one of the first CGI animated TV shows out there. So, yeah. And a couple years later, you would get a completely CGI animated movie titled Jimmy Neutron. I mean, who could forget that masterpiece? So they go into the world and they try to take down the enemy via fighting against all these crazy creatures and mechanical praying mantises and flying big ass bugs with shooting lasers out of their random ass body parts. So wouldn't you think the government would try to intervene and put an end to the virus since it's, you know, kind of a threat on national security? Well, it's expressed in the show that they just can't shut down the supercomputer because that'd be way too easy and the show would be over. And with Xana being too strong, of course, that's another reason why they can't shut it down. But there's also other reasons that the show gives you as well, but we're gonna keep those a surprise. Ooh. The supercomputer also has the power to reset the day and go back to the past.
How about we call it back to the past? No, no, no.
Alright, so since they can't shut down the supercomputer and just kill off Xana that way, they must maintain all the info that they gather through their various missions in order to keep building on their grand plan in which they can construct and help to defeat and stop Xana once and for all. This was one of the reasons I remember really liking this show growing up.
Xana's the name of a rock group, but with all the junk that you listen to, there's no way you could possibly know them.
What do you think I am, an idiot or something?
You said it, not me.
These kids weren't trying to save the world for the glory or the recognition. Nope, they just enjoyed going inside the world of Lyoko and trying to kick Xana's ass over and over again.
Over and over again.
You know, just doing it for the thrills and, you know, to save the world, of course, I guess. They also find out a way to help one of the characters get out of the virtual world into the real world. And Jeremy was the guy that all the weeaboo kids would be super salty and jealous over since he was actually able to bring his video game waifu to life. Wow, what a guy. And you know, I gotta say, I did not see that coming. You hear that, Asuka-chan? There's a chance. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. This show was just really out there, and when it's, you know, really creative writing, and the show had, and, you know, just so many things that the show would throw you for a loop and keep building on from each season to season and just going, getting more complex and having more character developments. You know, the characters are something that really got you hooked to the show and just really made it very good intertwined with how all the characters connected with each other and how they all interacted. Like when you go to school, you had the gym teacher and the principal and their teachers. Man, Jim, that was a really cool guy. I wish they would have explored more of his character, but you know, they gotta focus more on the main characters of Ulrich. What kind of name is that? You know, the quiet and loner type who's not all into expressing his feelings. And you got Yumi, the martial arts street fighter chick who's just all about being badass, and she always wears black because, you know, she's trying to blend in with society. And you know, you got Odd, which is a really funny name, and he's the comic relief, smart alecky jokester of the group. And you got Jeremy, the kid genius, the brains behind all the operations, and the one that helps send them to the world of Lyoko. There was also the character of William, who I always found was a pretty cool guy. You know, was kind of edgy at times, but for the most part, he didn't mind being straight up and blunt, and he would rarely back down from a challenge, which I've always found great admiration for. You also had the character of Alita, who was pretty level-headed most of the time, and had this extensive amount of intelligence that would be more unlocked as the series progressed. This show was just a really fun show to go back and rewatch. I'm really glad I went to go back and check it out. It was very entertaining, and how each of the characters interact with each other, it's always very interesting. This show was like a slice of life, and then it would throw you for that CGI battle scenes that always try to keep you extra hooked. You know, this show did a very respectable job with character growth, and you know, a lot of characters that you might find annoying. Later on in the show, you might find that character to become quite likable and even important because how the character actually played a key role in helping the heroes of Lyoko and, you know, saving the world so nobody all died. Another cool thing about the show was that it had really good music compositions, like during the battle sequences or even just the instrumentals that they would use throughout the show. Nice one! In general, the music score used in the whole show was just phenomenal. The English voice acting though, well, it wasn't the most terrible, but it could have been better. After you get used to watching 4Kids dubbed, you can almost pretty much tolerate any amount of iffy VA work. I ain't trying to be rude, but like, why does this guy sound like this?
Huh? What are you gonna do? Don't you have to leave with your dad after school?
My favorite of the main characters, it would probably be Odd, because he was just always making some really off-the-wall jokes and just being the life of the party. And he just kept that energy of the show going, and he added that happy-go-lucky vibe to the show, even though it was getting very serious at times. It's good to have that person that can ease the tension and to really focus on the stuff that's really truly important as far as friendship and all that goes. It would be cool to see Code Lyoko come back someday with a nice continuation, and no, not like that Code Lyoko Evolution live action bullcrap. I tried watching that, and let me just say, this was not the Power Rangers spin-off that I signed up for. Now, Lita's actor in that show, she was pretty cool though. Kind of reminded me of that one girl from Lazy Town.
You gotta do the cooking by the book. You know you can't be lazy.
Must have been the hair. But yeah, Code Lyoko was a show that I would say, it wasn't the greatest thing ever produced, but I had to talk about it because, it's a pretty cool show. It was a nice niche show that explored a lot of creative realms of possibilities for the year 2004 at least. And it was definitely a show that I would at least recommend to anyone who's a fan of virtual reality games and fighting and lots of slice of life with kids in high school and learning how to fight against a nutcase virus and have a strong form of friendship and learn more and more about the world of Code Lyoko. Yeah, why not? There's so much more I could say about this show, but I ain't trying to sit here all day. I believe I've said what I need to say, and yeah, you should go give this show a chance and see what you think of it. So yeah, remember to try to smash that like button or whatever. Subscribe, that'd be pretty cool, and I'll see you guys next time. Cory out. Peace.
It starts shining bright.